So welcome back to DC Silver Age Storytime, and today's story comes from More Fun Comics number 91, published in June 1943. The old adage, you can't keep a good man down, is given a reverse twist by the evil genius of Mr. Who, when the diabolical diehard of crime demonstrates that you can't keep a bad man jailed, and when this wanton wallower in wickedness uses his powerful Solution Z not only to attain liberty for himself, but to render powerless his most relentless foe, Dr. Fate. The man of magic faces the Herculean task of mastering the man who belittled fate. So, Mr. Who is in prison after his last encounter with Dr. Fate. Here are a few breadcrumbs I saved from dinner. Who'd have thought it? A cruel Mr. Who showing kindness to birds. It seems a pity to interrupt him. But he gets a letter from his associates. Dear Mr. Who, I am sorry you are in jail, but cheer up. You will be out soon, your old friend George. So it turns out this paper has been soaked in Solution Z, and he is able to, extract the liquid, drink it, and become small. You can't escape, Mr. Who. If you grow large, we'll blast you with riot guns, and if you stay small, we'll crush you. Better surrender. Sorry, I have a pressing appointment with the outside world. Jail bores me, so it turns out he was just training these pigeons to fly him away. Why, it's Mr. Who. Yes, here I am, thanks to the Solution Z you sent me. With you to lead us, boss, easy dough will come our way. So, Kent Nelson gets the message that Dr. Who, or Mr. Who, has escaped. Mr. Who could be anywhere, but my magic ring will warn me when I'm close. I'll just scout around. So he flies off and immediately finds them and starts beating them up. Could be, the chins I love to touch. That's for burning up rubber, Mr. Who. You've been doing over 35. Wow. So he gets clonked on the head, and so much for his invulnerability, he's knocked out. And force-fed this liquid. Drink this, it'll make you feel better. Thanks. What? So he comes about. Take that away, it must be a trap. You realized it too late, Dr. Fate, so now he is shrinking down. No, Dr. Fate, it is you who have grown smaller, and you'll stay that way, for a while. You can't possibly harm me now, so I think I'll keep you as a pet rather than just kill you. So he puts him in a bird cage. You won't be able to keep me here, Mr. Who. But he says the latch here has been soldered shut, and he's too weak to even bend these thin wires, which seems unlikely. But I guess he's just not that strong anymore. Even my magic powers, which he doesn't really have hardly any, can't help me now. Wonder if I'll ever return to normal size, as Mr. Who does when the effects of Solution Z wears off. So he sees that cat down there and decides to try and get his attention to help free him. The cat jumps up, knocks over the cage. That blow of his paw knocked the cage clean off its hook, and the crash flattened these wires and spread them apart. So he manages to punch the cat in the nose and escape. They're going to rob that mansion on the cliff. Maybe I can trap them. So they go in, having cut the burglar alarm wires. If I join these together, so he fixes the wires for the alarm. The alarm will work once more and rouse all the servants. So indeed, the alarm goes off. Hey, that alarm couldn't go off. We cut the wires. Burglars. So they get into a fight and then escape. They may have been able to climb slowly up here, but they'll break their necks if they try to tumble down. But Mr. Who has grown absolutely enormous, and they just hop into his hands. I wonder why my plans went wrong. If I didn't know that Dr. Fate was safe in my house, I'll let him keep thinking that. So they go off. So that's how they travel. They don't arouse suspicion because everyone thinks they're workmen, but I'll end that game. So he goes up on the telephone wires and sends a message out to the police. The police arrive, but everything seems normal. Say, he isn't here. It must have been a bum tip. Wonder where the boss got to. We're ordinary workmen, officer. Is anything wrong? We want to take a look inside the truck in case anybody's hiding. While they search, I'll hide in the grass at the edge of town. So that's Mr. Who hiding. Um, who is now, I guess, small as Dr. Fate. What? You here? Small scale, but with both fists. So uh, Mr. Who tries to kill him with a blade of grass, but misses. I'll say it with flowers. Bumps a daisy. Dr. Fate again. He's knocked out the boss. It's been a pleasure. You're next. So he punches the guy in the nose to no effect because he's just too big. If you'll just stand still a minute. Yeah, 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 said the little fox. Yeah, 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 you can't catch me. How degrading. How humiliating for Dr. Fate. So the guy shoots Dr. Fate, who I guess can't take a blow to the back of the head, but a bullet to the stomach has no effect. Here I am, more than a mile above ground, and Mr. Who is going free. What the hell did he shoot him with that it shot him a mile into the sky? Our night work is wasted on account of Dr. Fate. Not entirely, men. There's a wealthy country club down the road. Hand over your dough and your gewgaws, and you won't get hurt. This is an outrage. So they escape with the loot. The boss always answers opportunities knock. Ouch! What's the idea of poking me in the ribs, mug? Who me? I never did, but who you callin' mug? Ow, wow, my toes, you stepped on my foot purposely. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes, chum. You can't hit me and get away with it, yeah? Here's a punch to remember. Stop this madness, you fools. You'll never get anywhere fighting amongst yourselves. They've lost their heads. I better leave before the police get here. I'm growing larger. The effects of Solution Z must be wearing off at last. I may be only a half pint, but stick around a few seconds for a full quart punch. It's Dr. Fate. He's knocked out the whole gang. They knocked each other out. I just encouraged them a little. This time, we'll make sure that Mr. Who doesn't get any of his solution. And I don't think we ever see him again in the Golden Age. But making sure of Mr. Who is a little too much for ordinary human beings. Can the police keep this daring supercriminal behind bars? Apparently they can. Perhaps, but one thing's we're sure of is another thrilling adventure of Dr. Fate in the next issue of More Fun Comics. Thrilling fun is debatable, but we'll see.